All right, good afternoon. Welcome back here to Trader Money. Great to have you aboard. There are a lot of charts out there that look like IBM. Microsoft has same type of price action, CSX same type of price action. That coming off the upper band and back to the 7-day moving average, here, and there's just a lot of those out there. There's some charts out there like Bank of America that look very different, or JP Morgan look very different, but a lot like IBM. And when I go in and I look at the hourly charts, I'd be a little disappointed in myself if I didn't take advantage of this entry opportunity. Now, it may work, it may not. There's always that element. But as far as just from a pure entry standpoint, we've come down to this lower band. We have the bands contracting here. You could say I'm anticipating a little bit, and you're right. I'm anticipating a little bit because I don't have the move back above 20 on the stochastics here just yet. But given the overall action in the market that we've seen here this afternoon, and the bottoming volumes that we've seen, and then kind of just that exaggeration leg that came after the bottoming volumes, suggest that we may have seen some of the short-term bottoms here, in things. And frankly, me, I think the reasoning for the sell-off today, yes, there's logic behind it, and I understand the fear, and I understand the dynamics of it. I don't think it's very rational, though. And I do think there's a high chance that it gets reversed, here in the next 2 days. And so, okay, IBM, I'll pick it up here at this 122 level. Is where we saw it consolidate right here at the end of November, back to the lower band, and so in. Now I put $700 into the trade. So not too aggressive there in terms of dollar amount, but at the same time, aggressive in terms of the option that I chose. It's next Friday's expiration. So it will, this isn't a trade that I look at and say, well, I wonder what it'll do over the next 5-6 days. No, this is something where I'm expecting that, this afternoon and Thursday for this to perform and hopefully be able to take it off around 125, 126 on Friday. Is ideal in what I would love to see, if not higher. But looking for that bounce, and we'll assess the bounce as that happens. There's still some free fall risk. There is absolute free fall risk in the market. That is not going away. But one of the things I found interesting as I was kind of going through things, you realize that since last Tuesday market close, just 1 week, right? 1 week. Market was at 268 on the SPY. The market's almost 2% higher over the course of the last week, even with today's action. And, pretty remarkable, but, the market's acting like a stock that just had earnings, right? I mean, it's acting like a stock that's had earnings, and then it's had its conference call, and it's reacting to it, and some of the fears, and some of the panics, and then some of the exuberance, or exuberance first, and then fears and panics. But it is absolutely acting like a stock that has earnings. I looked at some stocks like Under Armour, said, okay, do I go and, it has the same concept as IBM. Right, Under Armour here on the daily chart, very similar concept to IBM, and on the hourly chart, very similar concept here. And thought, do I go after that? Looked at the options. I'm not as excited about the options when it comes to Under Armour, there, or even Microsoft. I think IBM just has a better risk reward with the options, and it's essentially the same chart. So, decided to go with IBM, but again, there are dozens that have this exact same technical look that could go after, right? They could trade and could make a go of. I did look at the IWM, but this is one where if you look at the CCI, rarely does it get this oversold, and it's down there. And historically, we tend to see a nice strong bounce off of that CCI level. So, definitely a day where there's blood in the streets, and definitely a day where there's plenty of panic and plenty to worry about, and plenty of bearish headlines to muddle over. So for the challenge. I'll take $700 and see if we can't catch the sentiment snapback. Now, one of the problems with trying to catch a sentiment snapback like this is, the option values are inflated, and IBM's no different. I mean, IBM's option value is inflated. I paid what, $3 or sorry, let me double check my entry price. Let's see here. I paid $235, right? I paid $235 for the option, and this is probably an option that's really worth somewhere around $1.90 here if we take into account Vega and everything else. So I'm paying an extra 20% on it, and it's one of the reasons why I'm not willing to put more money on the position. But it is something where that element will come out. So I need a strong move. I need a strong move, and preferably sooner than later. And anyway, that is the setup here for IBM. All right. I'm not going to go into tomorrow with the market closed with the additional exposure. Barring just something miraculous or fantastic happening in the market, just something incredible, and I don't even know what that could be. I'm not going to add exposure going into tomorrow. Again, tomorrow the markets are closed in observation of the National Day of Mourning, in honor of the late President George Bush. And so equity markets will be closed. A very unusual, thing. Something we don't see happen, very often at all. In fact, I don't recall ever seeing it. And so it's one of those things where, is what it is, and markets will be back and ticking on Thursday. Keep in mind, global markets will be open. Currencies, bonds, they will trade, but equities will not. Thanks for hopping on. Have yourselves a great one, and we'll talk to you later. Take care.